Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fast Friday. Today we're in Project Cars and I'm going to be driving the Mercedes CLK DTM. I can't remember exactly what the car name is, but this is the Circuit de la Sarthe, the Le Mans 24-hour circuit, and I'm going to be trying to set a record here. I say trying because the original intent was to set a record, because I did a setup here and I've been practicing for a few days, and lo and behold I came on today to record this and some Germans came along and beat the record. Let's restart, because I'm not doing a 4-minute lap just to get back to the start. This is going to be kind of the theme of what's going to be happening. Is I'm going to be potentially crashing and having to restart, because as you can see, my best time so far, which was for a couple of weeks the best ever set in this car on this track, is a 358.9. so yeah, there is the potential. Oh, come on. No, I'm not going to claw back 3 seconds now. This setup is a bit tricky. I have been practicing to try and get my eye in, but it's just not been working. My 8th shifter went into 3rd gear there, which is why the car suddenly jumped into 3rd. So this setup that I got is not the most stable setup in the world, I'm going to be honest. I made it myself, and that happens a lot. Okay, let's just go for it. It actually looks like the engine isn't going to overheat in this, which is good, because the radiator isn't the best. The radiator settings I have are not the best, so I could have taped the entire damn thing up and got less draggy. Cut track, lap time validated. Project Cars is a bit dodgy with cut tracks. Someone just fell. It is a bit picky with cut tracks, so sometimes you can think, oh well, I'm doing fine, and then suddenly your lap time's invalid because you went 2 wheels over the white line when in fact it should be 4. That's how cut tracks are actually calculated in real life. It's, you know, all 4 wheels outside the white line, or outside the racing surface. So as you can see, this setup that I have is a lot faster than one that I used previous. I don't know why I'm locking up so much there. That's clearly human error, and I'm not sure why. But as you can see, I'm flicking on and off the DRS of this car, because it does have DRS. And that ghost car ahead of me is one of the times that beat me. Now hopefully he doesn't have the top speed that I do, and I'll be able to claw some time back. And as you can see, my top time, or my optimal, is a 354.552. That's not going to happen. I'm going to be honest, I'm not good enough to do that. But as you can see, I am clawing time back now, both on my previous best and the guy who beat me, because I've set this thing up to be really, really fast on the straights. Which, oddly enough, is a legitimate strategy in Le Mans. It's what a lot of the actual Le Mans racers do. I've just realised I took out some rear wing, so that's why the rear is locking up and going a bit weird. That explains a lot. A lot of the Le Mans prototypes and Le Mans race cars do legitimately just run next to no downforce, because the straights here you can lose so much time that the best strategy is just, well, you can lose it around the corners because you'll make it up on the straights. As you can see, I'm nearing parity with my all-time time, and now I'm actually beating it. just because, you know, I've gained over a second on the straights alone. And I am catching up to the guy ahead of me, which means he did a 3:56, so I'm on course for probably 3:57 at the moment. This is the second to last straight. The one that we've just gone down was Lausanne with Indianapolis at the end. So here we're heading up towards Arnage. So this isn't Arnage. This is just, I can't remember the name of that corner. I think it's Superman or something silly. So here's Arnage, where there's always carnage. If it rains. Because the rain usually comes in from that corner there. And nobody expects it, so it ends up in chaos. So, oh good lord, I'm 2.7 seconds up on my previous best. So this is a, what, 3:56 now I'm on? Possibly 3:55. Now here's where I'm probably going to lose time. Especially if I do that. I actually did lose traction. So this is the Porsche curves I'm now in, which are really, really fast. And require deft use of the accelerator, which I don't really have. But I do appear to have... Oh no! Oh, I forgot that was a cut track right there. Oh. Oh, that's annoying. So I now know that this setup, because I wasn't sure, can do 3:56. So let's restart the session once again. And I'm probably going to edit this a bit. I'll leave that lap in because that one was actually quite good until I went wide of the Porsche curves. This is the Ford chicane right here, and nuts. So yeah, Le Mans is one of the tracks, despite being something silly like 8 miles long. I do know most of the corners because there aren't too many. So this is the Ford chicane. Here's the start finish line where we'll just deploy DRS and get going. So I'll kind of talk you through the track here. So we're coming up now up the hill to the Dunlop curves, which is a second gear chicane, and I'm probably going to get a cut track. No. Okay, second gear chicane. Come down the other side of the hill, the Bugatti circuit, which is used for MotoGP, sweeps off to the right there, we go to the left. And this brings us out of the circuit entirely, and onto public roads. So this is the Lausanne Straight right here, and there was a time in... well, for most of the history of Le Mans and the 24-hour race, there were no chicanes. This is, or used to be, a 2.5 mile long straight line. And I've not messed it up, so I'm just gonna squeeze through here and talk you through this lap. I'm probably gonna get a cut track here. How did I not get a cut track? Okay. So this used to be a complete straight line. The first chicane is actually the harder of the two because you're coming in at maximum speed. Your car is completely maxed out. I was hitting 292 kilometers an hour. Forgot to deploy DRS coming out of it, but okay. So this is the second chicane, and it is a left-right as opposed to the right-left of the first one. And they are kind of second to third gear corners. I'm going to finish this lap just to talk you through it. Just for the sake of it. So that used to be just one very, very long straight line. This is still Lausanne Straight. And as you can see, it's a public road. So if ever you're around Le Mans in France, you can drive a surprisingly large portion of the circuit. So here we have Indianapolis, also known as the Lausanne Corner, I believe. On to the second long straight, and this one is all unaltered. The reason the chicanes were put in, and this is beautiful. in, I think it was 1987, somewhere around there, maybe the early 90s, a Peugeot came along, or Peugeot, whichever pronunciation you think is correct, and taped the car up and intentionally pretty much wrecked their own engine. But they wanted to get a speed record around Le Mans, which is fine, you know. They decided that their goal for the 24-hour race was to go as fast as possible in a straight line. And they managed, I think it was 400 kilometers an hour, which is somewhere up in the region of 250-260 miles an hour in a straight line. Now the engine only lasted about 8 laps, but that was a thing they did, and that's why the chicanes are there now. The FIA said, well, we're not going to sanction a race with a straight longer than, I think it was a mile, one imperial mile, and I think this is going to be good, so I can start a second lap immediately after this. And the Auto Club de l'Ouest, who owns the circuit, said, well, okay, we'll just put in chicanes about a mile apart on the Mulsanne straight, because it was just about big enough that they could put in 2 chicanes and the rest of the track will remain unaltered. So that's exactly what they did. That was a 4:03, which was a spectacularly slow lap by my reckoning. I gotta take off DRS there and just lift. No! I'm just gonna abandon this lap. So, I have not completely abandoned Assetto Corsa, although it is taking a bit of a break from the channel, as it has an annoying habit of crashing my computer. Just completely overheating my computer and causing it to crash, which I don't like, for obvious reasons. So this guy really got off to a good flying start. But it's gonna invalidate the lap, isn't it? Okay. New goal! New goal is to beat my 358.9 is a clean lap. The all-time record now is a 354, which I don't think is achievable, and I know I'm restarting a lot, but if this was a shorter track, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be having to restart. Oh, come on! I want to see a replay of that. How far off the circuit was I? I don't like the colour scheme of this car, by the way. Oh, this is a good camera angle, so... Oh yeah, all 4 wheels off the track. I can completely deal with that. Although that is the racing line. That's the thing that annoys me. That is the racing line. I mean, if you're not going to put big bollards there to say, no, don't hit this, people are going to hit it. It's a bad start to the lap already, because, as you can see, Mr. 354 here is pulling away, but I am, in fact, going slightly faster than my best time. DRS off. Okay, let's get back on track without accelerating. I'm about 2 seconds down on my best. I might be able to salvage this. So, if you're wondering why you can't hear my gear stick going absolutely mental, it's because this is a sequentially paddle shifted car, which means it also has auto clutch and auto blip, which means I just have to worry about accelerating and braking. And even with that little to consider, and of course changing gears, Even with that little to consider, I'm still struggling because I've made a terrible setup. I'm considering putting more... trying to decide which wheels are locking up, because I can change the brake bias on the fly. But I'm not sure which wheels are locking up is the issue. It's the front wheels, so let's swap the brake bias a bit rearward. And just see what happens there. I've moved to 5%, well 10% rearward, so it's now 45% front brake bias. Which will mean the front tyres should lock less than the rear tyres will lock up. Oh, hello. I think it was my front tyres were locking up. I'm gonna swap into this view here. Yeah, my front tyres were the ones locking because they're the ones with the most wear. Awesome. I forgot to deploy DRS. Let's restart the session again. Okay. So let's get this party going properly. This is going to be the final attempt, so consider this a challenge. I'll beat my time. Beat myself up or something. I don't know what I'm going to call it. I'm going to give it a challenge name. Is the brake bias still rearward? No, it's still forward. Nuts. Luckily I didn't lose too much time there. And I drifted, which is different. Don't need to worry about the brakes until... So I lost a lot of time fixing the brake bias, and I didn't really need to because there was only one corner I needed to brake for, and I'm relatively confident about braking for that corner. So all I need to do now is make sure that I don't screw up the braking zones. This is going to be fun. Okay. Brake. Yeah. I have a feeling that this is going to be a very edited video. Very heavily edited video, and I'm not looking forward to it. That was much better. That was a much better entry to the lap. Now I'm probably still going to end up behind this dude. Yep, he's probably got less downforce than me, but also less top gear. Okay, so I know that I forgot to do the brake bias again, so I'll do that going around on Lausanne. Fix the brake bias coming down to the first chicane. Okay, 45, 100 for the front. So that should be better. Multec screen changed here, and turn the lights so I can see the damn Multec. So my brakes are actually not quite up to temperature, which isn't good. Wow! I don't know what happened there, but it wasn't good. Let's reset again. So what I've done there is I've changed the Multec screen, which is the dashboard display kind of thing, and now it's showing me my tyre and brake temperatures. I'm just going to get the brakes up to temperature. You know what, the issue might have been cold brakes. just me braking too late or something. I don't know. I also don't know why my potential time is now in red. These are things I am aware of. So if I can change... This is time attack mode, by the way, in Project Cars, and I can't change my setup here, which is why I'm trying to fix this with brake bias adjustments. The issue is, and I'm pretty sure now that I know what the issue is that I've got the brake duct open too much. I'm leaving too much air into the brakes in the first place, which means they're cooling too much. That was a much better first chicane. Much better. I'm actually up on my potential now, which means my potential fastest lap is better than the 353.308. It's probably going to dip into the 352s, which means that there is the potential for me to get a 350. Yeah, it was cold brakes. That's the entire issue. So, I have the feeling that, I get the feeling that if I do a second lap with these brakes all warmed up and perfect, I'll actually do better than on this lap. I'm going to test that theory, but I don't have great confidence. I'm really not sure what this dude's doing ahead of me, by the way. I'm 90% sure he's got his DRS open. If he doesn't, he's a bit of a moron. Although for a 356, unless he's got an absolutely perfect setup that actually DRS negates, which, yeah, he's got better acceleration, but I have better top speed. Running. And there we go. So this guy here has better acceleration than me, but I actually have top speed. I trump him on top speed, which means that he's probably going to get a faster lap than me, but I know that I don't want to drop top speed, because top speed is where it actually doesn't matter. I may do a follow-up video to this eventually, where I've taken a few weeks, or maybe a couple of months to learn how to set up a bloody car in the first place, and then come back and try and beat this lap time. But I am going to beat my 358.9, which for a time, a couple of weeks in fact, was the world record for Circuit de la or the circuit for the 24 hours in the modern DTM car. What did I get? 357.0. Yep, my entire issue was cold brakes. And potentially even cold tires. Let's try and better 357 on this lap. So you can see behind me now my ghost has appeared, because I did set that up beforehand. And there is the 356 behind me as well, in the silver car. So this is going well, and I'm actually going to pull away from him now, because his top speed is leveled out, and mine is still increasing. I'm not too great at cornering, but again, my top speed will pay off in a moment. because the Lausanne Straight is the biggest test of speed probably in this entire game. I haven't quite got to the long straight on the Nürburgring yet, even in the 125cc shifter karts, because I am bad at this game. Simulation game, whatever you want to call it, I am not good at it. So I think I actually pulled away in Lausanne too. Sorry, I just said Lausanne too. In my mind I've numbered the chicanes 1 and 2, so it's a lot easier to refer to in my own brain. And when I'm kind of nattering away to myself, when I'm racing, or practicing, or testing, or whatever, I refer to the chicanes in Lausanne as 1 and 2, just because it makes the most sense to me. So this lap looks like it's got the potential to be a 1. Wouldn't you love to get a 1 minute lap around Le Mans? The all-time lap record in real life is a 3:15 or 16. Oh no! I forgot to close the DRS flap. I think I'm gonna end it here because my head hurts now. I might come back next week and do some more project cars. I'm just taking a break from Assetto Corsa because it does tend to break my computer a small bit. It will return and things will happen there. For now I'm just going to screw around with different cars and different tracks here. And until next Friday, if you're just here for the fast cars, until next Friday, stay safe and goodbye. Or if you're here for farm sim and you like fast cars too, and you're interested in project cars, number one, I'd say get project cars, because or wait for project cars 2, which is the money grab that they're planning on bringing out next. Project cars is good. The force feedback I get is actually really good. I'm getting none at the moment because the car is turned off. But going along Lausanne, my hands were actually shaking, and I'm shaking the wheel just to kind of simulate it. My hands were, vibrating a bit. The wheel will only turn really that much. If I really pushed, I could get it more. But the force feedback is good. There we go. Just wanted to put the car in neutral. Force feedback's good. That man is... What is he doing? Whoa, 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 whoa. We gotta get closer to this. What are you doing? There's 2 of you! Why is my car vibrating? How many people are in that barrier? I can't see. I also don't know why the car is vibrating. That's fixed it. There's at least 2 people inside that barrier, which is impressive. They are obviously ghosts. And they are wonderful and magical. By the way, I never showed off the car itself. And because I didn't hit anything, it still looks perfect. This is the Mercedes-AMG CL DTM. I think it's a CL. Might be CLK DTM. If I hit this button. It's a Mercedes-Benz AMG C-Coupe DTM, which is why there's only a C. Well done, me. As you can see, it's really well modelled, and if I just scoot over here, you can possibly see that the carbon fibre is even modelled on this. And is that an Ayrton Senna helmet? That does look like an Ayrton Senna style helmet. I never get to actually see helmet cam, which is why can I do this? It is! It's an Ayrton Senna style helmet. Is this supposed to be Bruno Senna? Bruno Senna races Formula E. Why would Bruno Senna be in a DTM car? Anyway, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you very much for watching, and well, stay safe and goodbye.